In this video, we are going to take a look at the new Roland Cloud sample packs. For this example, we are going to be using the Roland Cloud Chillwave pack. When you first download the sample pack, you'll notice that there are two different file formats in here. We have 16-bit samples, which can be loaded into any Roland hardware that supports WAV file imports, and there's also 24-bit versions as well. Let's have a look at the drum loops. You'll notice that the drum loops have the tempo information in the file name themselves and what kind of drum loop they are. This is what's called a full loop. This has every element of the drum loop available. There is also what's called the no-kick version. This is everything except the kick drum. There's also the percussion loop, which is just the percussion sounds. There's also the top loop, and the top loop is everything except the kick and snare. So we've seen that these drum loops are at 100 beats per minute, and our DAW is actually set at 100 beats per minute. So these loops will play seamlessly. We can loop it. And they play seamlessly. Now let's take a look at some of the bass lines. Again, you'll notice that the tempo information and the key information is actually in the name of the file. So we can just take bassline 1 here and drag it to our timeline. There are also pad and key samples, and we can just take that since it's 100 beats per minute and an A minor. This will work together. There are also synth lines in here too. So we can take lead 1 here, which is 100 beats per minute and A minor, and we can just drag it to the timeline. So now we can arrange some of these loops in a more musical fashion. I'm going to take these and slide these to the right. And I'm going to take this drum loop and I'm just going to slide it all the way to the end. And I just want to have the percussion loop come in. I just want to start off with the pads. And then I want the full drum loop to come in, along with the bass line and the arpeggiator. So now we have this. I also want to keep the pad sound going, so all I have to do is copy it over, line it up, and this is what we get. Now I can also move these blocks around. I'm going to take this no kick and just keep the arpeggiator line going. Then I want it all to come back in again. So you can see you can start building up musical ideas very quickly here. Now, if we want to do some more interesting stuff, there are also one-shot samples in here. So we can take the snare and just drag that to the timeline as well. Now, this is where you can start getting fun with stuff. I'm going to take the snare drum and I'm going to duplicate it on the timeline itself. And I'm going to double it up So now we have a snare roll. So I want more snares close to the end here. So I'm just going to delete this one. I'm going to select these last 5 here, and I'm just going to double it up. And I don't need these, so I'm going to delete those. Now, if we want to fade this in, we can just merge all of them, and we can simply put a fade on it. Same goes with the individual percussion sounds, kick drums, and hi-hats. Now the MIDI files are also included in here for added flexibility. Now I've loaded in the classic Roland Juno 106 from Roland Cloud, and I'm going to take the MIDI file from baseline 01 and drag it to the timeline. And in here we can select a different type of bass sound. So let's listen to that. So I actually want that a little deeper, so I'm going to drop it down an octave. Okay, and now we're just going to duplicate that. Let's take off solo and have a listen to this. Now we can do the same thing with the pad sounds. So I'm going to close this up here, and let's go to our pads and keys. And we're just going to we're going to duplicate that Juno 106. I'm going to take the MIDI file and just drag it to the timeline. Now let's find a pad sound for the Juno 106. So I'm going to use some of the patches from the Espen Craft Synth Pop collection. We'll just check out Van Pad. Now all we have to do is listen to it. So you can see how you can start building up musical ideas very quickly. You can add, replace, transpose, do whatever you like to with the MIDI files. Same goes with the WAV files. You can duplicate them, add different processing, load them into a piece of Roland hardware like a TR-8S or a Phantom, and you can get to creating great music very quickly.